Oke guys, match point untuk tim Gaming Gladiator dan match point juga untuk tim BTK. Siapa yang akan menang? Let's go guys, kita tonton bareng-bareng. Dan lagi-lagi ketika Freddy itu dilepas, first pick Freddy guys, tim Gaming Gladiator. Cici, Valentina, Hunya, Brody-nya Zia, Shark Minotaur.
Between the cold altar or the heavy spin there,
but
CC, I feel like is a raw element that might be able to kind of carry the game, since I don't actually know if Yuzong should be able to handle fried chicken on this hero.
Tadi di game kedua sih pas mau bagian pakai Akai, Karinya nggak bisa berkutik ya gitu. Apakah nanti ada Akai, Karinya bisa memberikan damage penting terutama
for the side of BTK to handle, because that is an AoE knockup that can kind of keep
satu support
the
tank,
cold altar, the heavy spin, and also the black dragon at bay.
Yang kedua support apa jadi Faramis super healer? Healer tank. Healer apa namanya itu Faramis? Final match guys.
Up against Gladiators. BTK able to take game number 2. GG. Victorious in game number 1, but hey, we're just getting started. It's match 3.
Tangil banget nih guys ya tangan Fredin.
We'll be able to claim victory in this series.
And once again, BTK is going to be the underdog in this series, but they had a great game 2, and quite honestly, the game 1 opening was also quite good for the side of BTK, so it definitely feels like they understand how to deal with the aggressiveness coming out from Gaming Gladiators and even give them a small lead up to an advantage. But for the side of Gaming Gladiators, they have to hold strong, right? This is a team that has done so well pretty much throughout the whole entire tournament, and now they are faced with a potential loss against the late kings that they have done so well to deal against here.
Yeah, we are gonna have to kind of pay attention to Shark though over there on this Minotaur. He is gonna have the Minoan Fury for the knockup, which is gonna keep Zane in his tracks.
Aduh, nggak bisa farming, Karinya hilang.
On top of having Hoon, who's running the Valentino with the heavy spin at his disposal, I think it would be better for him to pick up the heavy spin instead of the Nether Realm. But I feel like it's just gonna be situationally dependent on what's there for the taking. When it comes to the neutral engagement, so maybe the heavy spin just to zone out BTK will be his game plan, unless he's going to play for survivability. In that case, it could give BTK the advantage to be able to get these neutral objectives. But we are seeing Zia and Basic on the bot side, a flip around of the carry and the Brody. Now, how will this play out, right? Both of them has damage necessary for game, but Zia will be able to survive a little bit better, having that corrosive strike, having that flicker at his disposal. Whereas Basic's going to be a little bit more stationary. He didn't even go in for the flicker. He went in for the Purify instead. Looks like he's worried a little bit about that crowd control provided by Shark.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit scared for the carry versus the Brody matchup, right? The Brody has dominated pretty much that whole entire lane, and he's even able to kind of get a late game advantage if he is looking for. So, like, you know, the Brody is quite strong, and we're seeing some early game marksmen like the Bruno dominating into that gold side. So I definitely feel like Zia has a great chance onto the bot side, but the troll is now started for the side of Gaming Gladiators. This time, BTK not even looking to contest on the neutral objective.
Yeah, they need to be careful though, as this is what Gaming Gladiators wants. They know they can snowball. If they continue to take these turtles, then they'll be able to pretty much have an advantage on the side lanes with the XP boost provided. As you are looking at Zia, who can play a little bit more aggressive on the Brody. You stack up some gold on top of that, and it'll give Basic a harder time.
Yeah, definitely a harder time for the side of Basic onto the gold lane, but this is a matchup that he is quite familiar with. Now, if we take a look at the mid side, right, Hoon has the Black Dragonborn, so no utilities for the side of Gaming Gladiators, but I don't think a team fight is going to break out yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how this Black Dragon comes through. But again, onto the bot side, you can see that Zia is having a much greater time shoving the lane, has the gold advantage, has the XP advantage over Basic, and it's already a level difference now. You know, Zia with the Brody, especially in terms of the early game, has a lot of impact, has a lot of kill pressure. So the side of BTK really have to be careful to make sure that this gold lane matchup does not snowball out of control.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that Black Dragon. He didn't go in for the heavy spin. He didn't go in for the Nether Realm. But instead, something else entirely. I wonder if he's going to hold on to that, though, especially with this turtle spawning in. I mean, yes, he can drop onto the back line if necessary, but needs to be careful as he is a back line himself. Mobazane, though, pulled back to safety again. This Mathilda and Akai combination proven to work in their favor. Speaking of Mathilda, though, Feel the
5.
airlines in effect onto Hoon, but is going to disengage back to BTK's jungle.
I do want to say that Cold World is extremely good at using the Matilda ult to engage
Hampir
and
mati
disengage
Mobazane.
for his own
Tarik.
safety. But Milo, double Petri.
Woi, kena.
Yeah, Hoon caught with a lot
Wah,
of CC,
kena
and
heavy
Nicolette
spin
won't be able to
Hoonnya.
shut him down. First blood for the Bloodthirsty Kings. And that's off to a good start, as you are going to see this turtle spawn in, and they do have the numbers to take this.
Yeah, they do have a small advantage now with that pick off, but it seems like the gold lead is
kenapa
still
revive
inside
tadi
of Gaming Gladiator's favor, right? It's about a 1k gold lead. They're even going to be the one initiating the buffs up. So definitely it seems like Gaming Gladiators, they have a much stronger opening. The Fredrin paired up
Dilepas
with the
lagi.
knockup coming out from the Minotaur is just a little bit too much to handle for the side of BTK, especially in the early game objectives.
There goes Brody, showcasing his survivability. A 3-man gank on the bot side
lumayan.
before Hoon can even get there, and he's still able to find himself alive with that corrosive strike and also that flicker combination, which means he is still going to be able to sustain
Mati.
himself on the bot side.
Hmm,
Turtle will
enggak.
go to the Gaming Gladiators, the second turtle of the game, uncontested in their hands.
Yep, the gold lead is still close, right? We saw GG able to have that 1k gold lead. Now, after the objective, it is still onto 1k. That just means that Basic is able to grab up actually quite a good amount of gold onto the bot side. And that is, you know, quite good for the carry, right? They have the heavy spin to be able to pin people for the carry to get that free hit, but is that going to truly be enough to deal with the frontline presence that the Minot and the Fredrin has? That is a question that
kena
we
heavy
kind
spin.
of have to ask BTK
Oh,
to see
ulti Hoonnya.
if they're willing to show
Heavy
us.
spin dong.
Yeah, and speaking of
flicker.
showcasing some things, heavy spin in the mid lane from Mobazane, back to safety he goes. Now, written a lot of benchmarks. This is the highest anticipated game of the NACT Spring season so far.
Hampir.
And for 2024 NACT Spring regular season, we have hit our highest peak concurrent viewers, over 15,000 viewers.
Woi.
Make sure you guys leave a like and share the stream.
Mantap ya guys ya,
If you're
makin
on
ada
your favorite
perbaikan
team.
di NACT-nya
Yeah,
Amerika.
it's definitely the match
Ada
to
total
watch
50.000
for,
nonton.
especially since we're
Mantap
going
lah.
on to game
Makin berkembang.
3, a
Wih.
very classic game, and Zia here.
Sama-sama kena.
Down.
Wah, tapi Hoon yang
Yeah,
matiin.
one trade those Basic will fall. Both marksmen's losing out on that engagement. Zia gets an assist, but Basic gets a kill, which means he is going to be favored a little bit more on that trade-off.
Yeah, do we call that kind of like the Dragon Ball Z where both members kind of kill each other? But again, you know, the side of BTK, they have the ability to deal a lot of damage, and we haven't seen, especially in the series, that the carry is, you know, that significant of a pick, right? The Brody deals quite well, especially in the 1-versus-1 position. There's plenty of great early game marksmen, but Zane gets denied away
Ada
with the
retry.
buff there. He has the the retribution is coming up in 15 seconds. The best player also has retribution here available.
All right, UA, we said it, right? These turtles are going to start adding up. Once they get this third turtle for Gaming Gladiators, if BTK does not find a contest, then it's going to
Dapetin
be
bawah,
a
lepas
hard
turtle.
time. And it looks like they are finding one, though. Look at the bot side. You're looking at Basic stripping down the turret. We'll be able to find that in BTK's favor, which means they did find a proper trade-off to work in their favor.
Yeah, but look at the gold.
Minion
Like,
Fury.
it's literally
Heavy
nothing
spin
compared
buat
to, you know,
mundur.
both of the members. And another guiding win, saving the Akai from a bad situation. Cold World really standing up to the tanking ability that Shark has. Like, it's definitely, you know, 1-for-1 here in terms of the roam position. Like, both of them are making significant impacts, and, you know, it's quite hard for Shark to, you know, deny a lot of the utilities coming out from Cold World here. So BTK quite in a good standing here. They have the bot side tower. It has been traded, but Basic has the time to kind of scale quite well here in the mid game.
Yeah, speaking of scaling, Black Dragon trying to seize the
Nggak
opportunity.
bisa Zianya mati. Mati juga siapanya. Hoonnya. Ini bahaya guys. Dapat mid dong. BTK-nya. Nggak, dia ngambil ke purple dulu.
Has a slight advantage since they have two
nggak mau
turtles
juga.
up against them, up by 700 gold.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting here that Hoon hasn't really picked up the Nether Realm versus the side of BTK. The Nether Realm has been quite impactful in a lot of these team fights. So I do think it's time for Hoon to kind of step up to the plate and deal with the aggressiveness that Nicolette has, because right now Nicolette is playing a much better mage than Hoon there. But top side here, Basic looking to engage.
Minion Fury nggak kena siapa-siapa. Mati fight chickennya sama Milo. Team fight, udah nggak ada Minion Fury. Oh, kepak Momori.
needing to get out of there.
Sap,
Able to
guiding
look for the
win.
CC, but
Oh my
saved
God.
by the guiding win provided by Cold World.
It's just the guiding win from Cold World is just looking so
Uff.
good. And look at the zone coming
Di
out from the
zone,
backside.
di
Cold World
zoning biar
actually
nggak bisa
doesn't
ke
have
mid.
that much armor or defense. And he only has, the bomb comes through.
Duh,
Yeah, but Basic able to
GG,
claim the tier
BTK.
1 turret in the mid lane. BTK inching their way up the map against
Aku nunggu baru
Gaming
400
Gladiators.
tapi
Now are leading in
penting
terms of
banget ini.
gold and in terms of turrets on the map, up
Ada
by
lot.
2, stripping down Gaming Gladiators to their tier 2 turrets and controlling the early phases. We are now hitting close to that 10-minute mark. Lord is in play. Gaming
Oh,
Gladiators
kasih ke
has been
basic
able to
ya?
take majority of these neutral objectives as
Purple
BTK
ya?
has been able to claim the turrets, but who will be able to claim this first
Oh
one?
iya, udah mau kasih ke
Yeah,
ke
and
Kari
you know,
lagi.
the side of BTK, they're kind of playing this
enggak.
bully ball formation, right? They group up as a 5-man, they get the picks that they're looking for, and they're able to siege up pretty much any objective they
Wah,
are
Huna ngambil
wanting.
heavy
The side
spin.
of Gaming Gladiators, they're
Siap-siap
kind of
nih ya.
struggling in a lot of these 4 versus 5, 5 versus 5 formation.
Huna
The
dipaksa
circling
ulti
wind comes
kayaknya.
through.
Yeah,
Huna
for
paksa
the
ulti kan?
airlines, for the knockup.
Kejar
Very
sama
low.
Milonya. Dikejar sama Milonya. Petrify, mati Hunnya. Oh enggak, masih selamat. Ada minion Fury-nya siapa? Best player ya? Oh no. Oh kena juga akhirnya. Oh
Two members falling for Gaming Gladiators. BTK, all 5 members standing strong.
The 7-1 scoreboard. The goal lead is still quite close for both teams, but it definitely feels like the side of BTK has the lead in a lot of these team fights. And I honestly feel like it's due to Milo. Milo's playing quite perfectly here. Cold World is going to be the one that's saving grace for the side of BTK, getting some huge sets with the Circling Eagle. And of course, Zane right here, still 0 deaths on the board for majority of the players of BTK. They're just team fighting quite well. And the bully ball style, it might be, you know, in time for Zane to kind of turn that leaf, getting his heroes back together. The Akai seems like it's going to be the right answer to deal with a lot of the aggressiveness that Gaming Gladiators can provide.
Terbukti ya, Karinya kalau kelindungin gitu ada Akai, lain cerita. Wah, Nikola tinggal dikit banget.
Such a hard time. I'm surprised that they let BTK do this again with how well they performed in the last match. It was like Gaming Gladiators was confident on possibly having an answer, but BTK still kind of outperforming them and scaling a little bit better. They're 7-1 right now in terms of kills over there for BTK. They're going to try and climb in for even more. Circling Eagle. Mobazane is going to ride the guiding win. Is going to proxy the minions as well. Milo, a dive in on the fried chicken. Praises wrap from best player, connected on a basic. Nicolette very low. Is going to go back, but Cold World able to sustain the team and keep them alive.
Yeah, now BTK has the turn to be able to siege onto this mid tower. They had a great entire fight there, but the utilities of both teams are still available. The Purify on Cold World and Basic up for grabs. The Flicker also for the whole entire team of Gaming Gladiators available, but both teams have not decided to pull the guns now because honestly the Lord is coming up in 90 seconds. This is going to be a very important Luminous Lord, and the side of BTK seems like they have the map available. They even have Zane onto the boss side, and even with Cold World not scared to kind of just zone away some of the members away from their buff, away from their jungle, providing so much vision for the side of BTK to work with.
In Basic all over the map right now, 3-1-3, leading the way, outscaling Zia. Outclassing, at least for the last 2 games. He did it on the Brody, and now he's doing it on the carry against the Brody. And doing an amazing job on top of that 3,600 gold lead for the side of Bloodthirsty Kings. As they are now in control of this game at the 12-minute mark. It looks like we're going to be playing into a late match here, UA, for the final match of the day.
Yeah, this is where it's extremely exciting. But again, Gaming Gladiators is one of those teams that is able to get a win in the late game, regardless of the scores early on. So BTK, they definitely still have to hold it tight. They cannot just throw and just do their wombo combos without really using their brains. Like, they have to make sure they get the right pickoffs. But again, I feel like Hoon is lacking a little bit in this department, but the circling wind's coming through.
Yeah, Mathilda Airlines, in effect, heavy spin is going to go out from Hoon using the IMU against BTK, but is it enough to stop them?
Mati dong, ini Fury. Saknya mati gak? Saknya mati. Ada nadaran ulti dari Faramisnya. Dibales lagi. Dibales, wah rata dong GG. Wah, tapi Omori dapat.
Cold World, a 1-for-1 trade.
4 versus
A
4.
whole entire team fight, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. A beautiful fight coming out from both teams. But you can really see the Nether Realm sustain coming out from Nicolette is just too much to handle. You can also see Hoon picking up the heavy spin, using it early on, and you have Zane there trying to defend onto that. But look at Milo right there, gets the 2-man petrify. He's able to get onto the backside, picking off Hoon multiple times in pretty much all of these team fights here.
Oh, di fight lagi. Wah, Mobazane bonyok, nggak bisa lah. Bisa nggak tuh? Susah sih ini. Butuh darah dulu lah. Wah, mau heavy spin. Heavy spin. Heavy spin. Siapa dapat? Siapa itu? Dapat Mobazane berarti. Si best player one-nya kecepatan Reti. Wow, rata malah. Mobazane. Dibantuin guiding win. Wah, kena juga tapi. Wah, Mobazane kena juga. Topak memori membawa bencana, guys.
That's a huge turnaround for the side of Gaming Gladiators, and once again, it's the Brody impact, right? The torn apart memory AOE deals so much damage, especially when the members are low on health, and the multiple AOE pretty much counters the Fairness ultimate that's coming through to sustain the members of BTK. And I felt like that was even a small misplay coming out from the side of BTK. Zane was in a great position to kind of just hide in the bush and get that reset off, but they chose to go for the risk, and the risk did not pay off the side of Gaming Gladiators. Now able to clear this Luminous Lord, giving them another chance in this series.
That's right, and now at the 16-minute mark, we are getting to the late game, right? Over that 40,000 gold threshold. BTK up by 2,000, but everybody getting to full build. Basic.
Pas banget mati dong itunya, sharknya. Wah, bahaya N guys. Double kill karinya. Wait, turret Milo, lo tahan turret di sini Milo. Wah, dapat mid gak?
Yeah, a little bit of over-aggression coming out from Milo there. You know, he's unable to kind of get the kills that he was looking for, but did pop the Purify of Chicken. Unfortunately, it's still a 2-for-1 trade for the side of BTK as they look to go ahead and do that bully ball once again. Able to grab up the mid tower, the top side tower. I'm not sure if they're looking to siege here, but definitely a good push for the side of the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have the minions in play anymore, but they got a lot off that play, right? Opening up the base, taking down 2 inhibitors, stripping Gaming Gladiators to their last inhibitor on the bot side with half HP, and stacking up some kills on top of that. 6-11, BTK kind of living up to their name right now. The Bloodthirsty Kings dominating on game number 3, the final match of the day, up against Gaming Gladiators, who needs to find a way to turn this back around. They didn't have an easy time against the Bathilda and Akai combination, and it looks like it's the same thing again for game number 3. And I wonder why they kind of let this walk through, knowing that this kind of favors BTK's playing
Pas
style.
di game pertama waktu unggul, Redline kan digigit-gigitin sama Baxianya Mobazane.
I mean, he has to open up really well with this Valentina. He either needs to go in. I would say I wouldn't even go in for the heavy spin right now unless they're going to go in and try and close it out for BTK. Then yeah, you can use the heavy spin to stop the minions. But outside of that, I think it's going to kind of profit him a little bit better now to go in for Nicolette's Nether Realm to keep the team alive. Or if he does go for the heavy spin, possibly get this neutral objective, but he has to be careful, as with the late game items, BTK can easily burst down the backline.
And you're correct. There's just too much to choose from the side of Gaming Gladiators to try to pick the ult of BTK, right? I do think the sustain coming out, the utility of the Nether Realm is going to be the best option here for the Black Dragon coming through here.
Best player one.
He goes in for the Nether Realm now. Look at Hoon. He picked up the ultimate from Nicolette, but does he have enough time to close the distance? They have to go in. Nether Realm activated.
Ini Fury juga. Siapa dapat lot guys? Tuh dikit lagi. Dapat best playernya. Mobazane mati. Wah, comeback. Wah, comeback guys. Kenapa Milonya?
Is this going to be a comeback for the Gladiators in this series. It definitely looks like there is potential there. They're able to get that team fight in their favor along with the objective now. Four-man going to be marching down onto the midside here. And I think, you know, Shark had a great ultimate there, able to get a lot of knockups, and best player with the Retribution, able to take the Lord. Now in favor for the side of Gaming Gladiators, the 3 versus 4 defense. Zane and Milo is coming up, but that is going to be before the Lord hits onto the bot side tower.
I don't know if they're going to be able to take this though. I mean,
masih bisa
Lord is going
ketahan.
to be bursted down. The base is still intact for the side of BTK as they were not able to shut down the inhibitors, but it makes them a little bit more comfortable now. I mean, if they would have lost that Lord, BTK could have closed out that game. And that just shows you that now that we're in the late mark, hitting that 20-minute threshold, it's going to go down to the wire between who has better micro and macro for these team fights.
Now, it's definitely going to be anyone's game, but BTK still has the advantage in terms of the towers, right? The mid and the bot side tower. They also have a lot of ultimates that Hoon kind of has to pick and choose from. Is it going to be the heavy spin? Is it going to be the nether realm? They have to make a decision here.
Certainly Eagles speaking of decisions. Black Dragon,
Aduh, rugi banget.
He's going to turn back around. Did you see that? He just completely changed his mind right there. And hey, I don't disagree with him. That's not the fight you want to take right there.
And, you know, the side of BTK, they have the circling eagle. It's definitely possible that they look for the engagement, but right now I think it's going to be a bad choice for them to even look to get any part of the map, because the Black Dragon is not available, and without that, the gap closing for Milo along with the Petrify is not going to be enough for the side of BTK to get a convincing win here. They gotta space out the time, make sure that Milo is able to get the Black Dragon up and available, and they, quite honestly, he can't even look to push onto the bot side, right? The second that they see the Black Dragon on there, they're gonna look to 5-man siege for the side of Gaming Gladiators, and 8-12 is the overall score. We're 20 minutes in. The gold lead really does not mean too much. What does matter is what ultimate who is willing to take.
Yeah, possibly controlling these lanes, right? If you can put some pressure on a split push, possibly, you can gain control of this map on these neutral objectives, as you are looking at 20 seconds to this Lord spawns in, and we can pretty much confirm this should be the last Lord of the game for either side, and I don't even think it's going to boil down to somebody taking this Lord. I think it's just going to boil down to getting the pickoffs and trying to close this out, because the respawn timers are way too high to handle.
Most definitely, and I definitely feel like in terms of the team fight, BTK has a lot more in their arsenal, especially with the Black Dragon Petrify, shutting down Hoon almost every opportunity he gets. So definitely we have to watch for Milo to see if he can get onto the backside. Of course, Shark is kind of going to be the tank that goes into the front to deal with the Nether Realm if he's able to get that sustain off. And again, the damage coming out from Brody, it is still immense. But at the same time, we're heading into that late game where a lot of the teammates of BTK has some armor to be able to deal with the turn apart memory that they have. The Shark looking to go in here.
Yeah, Milo.
Wah, ada Petrify. Udah pakai unnya.
Oh, that's huge.
Early from Hoon, a big play for BTK. They still have it over there for Nicolette if they do want to take this fight. Milo does not have that Black Dragon, though. Looks like Gaming Gladiators, they realize they need that utility back, so they're going to disengage a little bit, but it opens up the opportunity for BTK to take this Lord. I mean, look at Basic, already chipping it down, using Speedy Light Wheels, Cold World, Mobazane, Nicolette zoning out Gaming Gladiators from finding the opportunity. The taunt on the best player, the knockup though, the response back. Gaming Gladiators, if they want to have a chance, they need to find a way to get inside the Lord pit, but
best playernya pecah immortalnya.
Focus over, the best player finds the jungler.
Ulti pas banget. Wah, chicken. Hampir mati.
From Nicolette to keep BTK alive, and now small window, they will be able to take this Lord as Gaming Gladiators not able to close the distance.
Faramisnya kagak ada
with
mana.
That major objective, a chance for BTK to possibly close out this
Waduh,
series.
bisa
I
nggak
mean,
ini?
I don't even see the Lord's HP right now. I'm imagining it's about
Gila, maju
25%
lagi.
Okay, it is very low.
Nggak ada, mati dah. Milonya mati. Wah, bahaya nih guys.
Immortality being proc. Lord, not even at the retribution mark yet. Milo will fall. Zia be able to shut him down. Circling Eagle connecting. Corrosive strike from Zia, trying to get away from Cold World.
Hampir tuh bawahnya, mid sama atasnya hampir end tuh minionnya. Sekarang minion per minion mah jahat guys.
Yeah, GG's, they definitely looked for the opportunity there. They knew Nicolette did not have the mana available to cast any spells, so they looked to engage. It was a 4 versus 4 situation, and also, you know, in terms of marksman, it's not available. Basic is on the bot side here, so they're looking to get these fights without Basic. Now, it's kind of like the banana split strategy that they're looking for. I'm not sure if that's exactly what BTK needs in order to take
mati
wins
dong
in these
Saknya.
fights.
Yeah, and Moon used the nether realm in
Ah,
order for
mati.
the knock-up onto BTK. They're going
Best
in for
player
it.
one-nya.
Basic finds
Heavy
best
spin.
player. This is
Tapi
big.
Omori. Pas
Thirsty
banget
Kings
nih
X-Men on the
collab-nya.
wall, catching Shark, circling Eagle, co-rope until the airlines
Immortal
connecting.
pecah.
Shark immortality has been procced, but Chicken joining the party. Both sides down one
Wah,
member, but
bisa
best
dapat guys.
player
Dapat lot ini.
out of the playing field
Balik
means Game
dulu,
and
dapat
Gladiators
lot.
does not have a retribution.
Yeah, and now BTK actually gets the rise up, right? 40 seconds for best player. They can kind of take their time,
Dapat lot
make sure
dah,
the
cepat.
score is synced, and it's guaranteed for the side of BTK. And this is huge for the Kings of the Kings here, right? They're getting the upset that they're looking for. It is into that late game where both teams pretty much have to make these high IQ plays. And BTK, it feels like their comp is just slightly better. There's just too much great ultimates that BTK has that, you know, the side of Gaming Gladiators have to choose. And now the Lord is coming down.
Yeah,
Mundur
looks
sih.
like BTK will be able to claim this with no contest. A big target to be able to close this game. I mean, look how long it took with their entire team trying to burst it down with no contest. We would have been sitting there for days if both these teams would have been fighting it out on the Lord dance. But BTK now having a major advantage to be able to close this out with the Luminous Lord on their side.
But it's definitely not still a guaranteed, right? The Lord is going to be marching down. It is going to be a +1 for the side of BTK, but it is coming down onto the mid side. I don't like the Lord typically coming down the mid side. Top and bot definitely feels like it's a much better banana split to split the enemy teams, but we are going into this 25 minutes where pretty much the carry scales onto the maximum potential. The Brody does not have the impact that he has, especially
Dapat
early
bawah.
on. And of course, the Black Dragon form along with the Petrify has been kind of the death
Dapat
of
bawah.
the side of GG.
Black
BTK
Dragon
trying to go
form,
in for the game
maksain
ender.
Petrify,
Milo
udah
started
ulti
early,
Hunnya.
drops down the Black Dragon, Petrify, forcing out the nether realm over there from him
Wah,
with the IMU.
oh, ini free.
A lot of mobility on the board and
Heavy spin
utility being
dikeluarin
wasted.
best player
Mobazane,
one-nya.
heavy spin, catches best
God
player.
like basicnya,
Basic go ahead and
GG.
shut it down. Speed light goes down, goes the Lord though. Game
Bisa
Gladiators
ender.
trying to hold him off, not trying to allow them to finish off this game. They still have minions to work in their favor though, and they do have the numbers. As Game and Gladiators is one short with best player falling. Do they go in for the game ender? Minions on the top, minions on the bottom, minions in the mid, and the circling
Wah, Nicole yang
eagle
termati.
for the connection.
Nggak ada
Base
ulti loh.
Crystal, 50%. Mortality being brought to Mobazane. They're not done though. Milo resting with the Fury Style does connect.
Wah, keluar lagi juga sih ya. Wah, end tapi GG.
That was a base Crystal BTK.
Reverse sweep ya guys,
Able to
BTK
claim
guys.
the series, the reverse sweep against Game and
Oke guys, sampai di sini dulu. Terima kasih banyak yang sudah nonton. GG untuk BTK, nice try untuk Gaming Gladiator, dan Mobazane berhasil reverse sweep timnya guys ya, menjadi 2-1. Jangan lupa like, comment, share, dan subscribe. Dadah, sampai jumpa.